Terrell here, and I'm here to talk about Titans, the second half on now Max. HBO is now Max, so you'll see that as soon as you open up the show and the credits. No more HBO Max. This is the last 6 episodes of the season, guys, and what a way to go. This is as you probably watched my reviews before. You know that I'm not a fan of Titans at all. Let's take a trip down memory lane to 2018, where the show first came out and it was discussed. We always knew we were getting a uh, kind of adult Titans show. From the trailers and the previews, it was real edgy and it was dark, and we were gonna say fuck Batman and all this other stuff. And the show has evolved so much over the last 4 seasons. But 2018, it premiered on DC Universe, which was DC's streaming service that they had, which I thought did really really well. They brought back Young Justice, and then brought Titans into the fold, and of course the legendary Doom Patrol, which everybody knows is my favorite on the channel. But nowhere did I think that we would get 4 seasons of Titans, especially not as many episodes. Like I said, going through the pandemic and being able to film and everything like that. And I think it became a little bit more, because like, as much as I don't like the show, I do like what it was able to do throughout its 4 seasons. And we've never seen a live action Titans in any form whatsoever. We probably never will again. But it was so cool that they were able to take this chance and kind of give us this, obviously, Elseworlds DC, outside of the main continuity DC show, that we were able to kind of go through an adult Dick Grayson and see a lot of the things that he was going through, and the childhood trauma of being raised by Batman and made a crime fighter, which apparently is a crime now. But like I said, I just did not expect to get 4 seasons out of the show. I mean, maybe 2, 3. And as much, like I said on the channel before, and then every time I do a Titans review, is like, some of the story choices and stuff really irritate me. Stuff with the Scarecrow, stuff with Jason Todd really just pissed me off. But despite, I kept coming back because it was interesting. The choreography was good, and the costuming, of course, was definitely A1 on the show. Was pretty good. But you guys want to know season 4, how the other half of season 4 stood up. Like I said, watching 6 episodes, it comes back, and you can tell in the second half they're ready to wrap things up. Certain events are being closed off. If you remember the other half of the season, or the first half of season 4, they had the whole Brother Blood storyline, and this season we're now dealing with Magic. Because season 1 was Magic as well, because we were dealing with Raven, and her powers with Trigon and stuff like that. And what we get more of this here is, like I said, just kind of taking Superboy off the board before. And I've said this before, like they continue to find a way to take the strongest metahumans on the team off the board, so the story isn't solved like that. I think they do that with a lot of these shows, like The Flash and Arrow, where, especially in The Flash, where a lot of the stuff can be solved with his powers in like an instant. Or if Barry came into the Oliver Queen city, more than once a week, he can do everything and lock everybody up and solve the issue within seconds. But like I said, they continue to take Starfire and Superboy off the board, because again, they know that it's an instant problem solver. But when you're dealing with a magic user, your strongest people, your Kryptonian and your and Starfire can hurt her planet. But if you wind up taking them off the board, it's no longer that easy to kind of solve the story. So they they pretty much set that story up, like I said, with Brother Blood and his mom, and him trying to, he found out he's the son of Trigon, Raven's brother, and they all try to race to get this horn in the show. Like I said, the second half jumps you right back off, at that end of that battle, at episode 5, and jumps you right back. Like I said, just speed bullets you right into, like, okay, let's go, let's hurry up, let's wrap this up. I don't think it was intentionally rushed or anything like that. I'm pretty sure this is how it was always going to be written. In season 4 was going to be written as it's ending along. I mean, I'm pretty sure, in spite of everything that's going on with the DC universe, they've had the opportunity to make changes to certain things or how they wanted the story to go. Obviously, you'll see that as you watch the show. So, like I said, just overall, just the rest of the season, I don't know. Like I said, I'm giving you this opinion, this review from the opinion of somebody that already doesn't like the show, but I think they did a lot of things well. Like I said, I mean, the choreography is absolutely on point. The costume design this season, of course, is absolutely on point. I like a lot of the costume designs, as you guys probably seen from the previews they've shown. You've seen Tim's costume. Even I absolutely do not think he deserves one. His training and development for me from season 3 till now was a little too fast. I just don't believe that he can do what he can do versus the kid who grew up trained by Bruce Wayne, 3 people with powers. I'm not believing it. But they wound up rounding his story off. Him leaving Gotham and joining the team, even though he has no ability whatsoever. And then, of course, we pick up, we explore more of his relationship with Bernard, as we've seen in the first season. Bernard from Star Labs, if you guys were paying attention. But the season 4 definitely does a really good job of putting the bow on all of our favorite characters. Like I said, I'm not going into spoilers or anything like that, but Nightwing, I think you'll be happy where kind of Nightwing goes. Starfire, you'll definitely, I feel like they do a really good job of wrapping up a lot of the stuff with her over the last 4 seasons. Raven, again, the entire season pretty much is about her, as season 1 was with Trigon. So a lot of the story and her abilities is wrapped around this current season. But I think they do wrap up her well and where she goes. Beast Boy, we get way more here with Beast Boy than I had expected. And when I say putting the bow on his story, I mean they really tie a nice little knot on everything that's around Beast Boy. From when we found him originally, when the show first started, there was a separate Doom Patrol, which in that point in time, like the show Doom Patrol and Titans were kind of separated because they don't mention Beast Boy none whatsoever in Doom Patrol. But they give you a little bit more of that backstory, and I think correcting some things here that you probably had questions from since season 1. Finally, and this is not a spoiler, Beast Boy becomes way more relevant with his abilities. I'm really happy to be able to say that, because that was one of my biggest complaints about it. And I understand, budget is budget, when it comes to TV. But this is also HBO or Max budget, so I'm not trying to hear any of that going into that. But they fixed the Beast Boy problem for me, and I really, really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate being able to see certain things that he could definitely do, and give him a little bit more too that I wasn't even aware of. I had to go back and read some comics, because I was like, this Beast Boys thing? Oh, okay, but I double check. But Beast Boy definitely plays a big vital part in the other half of this season. Boy, this, like I said, this being the final season, we get a little bit more with Superboy. Superboy struggling with dealing with his father being Lex Luthor, dad being Superman, where he should be, wanting to have that family. We see the bald head Superboy this season, wanting to rock the Lex Luthor cut, because all the boys are getting that now. rocking the Lex Luthor cut and trying to have him to make that decision between where he wants to be and kind of where he wants to go. And we bring in some characters that are around Lex Luthor too. No spoilers there. That play a big picture in the big part in the other half of the story as well. So Superboy's dealing with that, and then like I said, just dealing with the lineage of the legacy of Lex Luthor. Because if you guys seen obviously the first half of the season, they kill off Lex Luthor with like the first freaking episode, which I'm like, okay, so nobody can exist. They just getting rid of everybody. No, it's getting rid of everybody. So I was surprised to see them take out Lex Luthor so quick, seeing as how he's one of the biggest threats in the DC universe. But of course, he's subjectable to getting got just like everybody else with magic in this entire season. Like I said, who was that? Beast Boy, Starfire, Nightwing. Pretty much go through the whole team, and like I said, everybody gets a big story, and exploring Starfire and Nightwing's relationship way more in this season. In these last couple episodes, we haven't really touched that since season 1. They kind of have their little thing and then kind of go on when she first gets there. They kind of get back, they touch over that within this season as well. Just kind of giving you an idea of like that relationship, and they keep hitting that stuff, and as it goes on, they keep hitting that little moments between the two. Will they, won't they? And as we know in the comics and the show, Starfire and Nightwing, Dick Grayson is a thing, and I think a lot of people wanted to see that, and I think they definitely do touch on more of that here. I don't want to say anything else, but they definitely touch more of that. So if you were shipping those characters, this might be your little ray of light here. And like I said, they do a really good job of just like kind of ending things here. Like I said, this is the last season. I think it's intention from the jump. When I went to New York Comic Con last year, I believe they were saying that the intent was this was going to be the last season, and this was going to be their best season. The action pieces were going to be the biggest they've done yet. Some of the scenes they set up were the biggest they've done yet. And I don't disagree with that. This is definitely the biggest budget that they have. Definitely CG wise, because they're using more effects and stuff like this, other than like the normal practical effects they have. They're using more CGI and stuff like that because of the stuff that they have going on, the magic, stuff like that. So definitely their biggest cast, biggest set yet. But yeah, I mean, they weren't lying when they said, some of the action pieces. That's one of my favorite parts about the show, and I think that's what I really like is some of the fight sequences that are in Titans. I think they do an amazing job with the choreography here. They really, because you really don't see that like that since like Arrow. And Arrow, I think, because that was more hands-on because you had villains that didn't have superpowers. They do a really good job with the choreography. And then you say you definitely see it here. You definitely see, it's more of a budget. Like I said, the bigger sets, more explosions, stuff like that. They absolutely kill it on with this the scenes on this one. Oh man, like I said again, wrapping this show up. We get some major cameos. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but the show definitely. Like I said, this whole review is putting a bow on everything. They put a bow on some stuff that might necessarily be related to Titans. So if you're a big DC fan, that's all I'm gonna say. While you watch this, as the weeks come, you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be happy. They do a really good job of tying up a lot of different things in the multiverse that is DC. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. They get into some shared elements of the show. Keep in mind, like you said, like if you guys remember the crisis events, like the crisis event, they show like the multiverse of like the different shows. They kind of explain like, of course, this is an outside universe, but like I said, you're gonna see some stuff this season. You're gonna see some new characters and some cameos. I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised to see. But like I said, I was saying, like, I think the first half of the season to me was a little bit better. I think the there are one or two stronger episodes here, but overall for the rest, it was kind of weak. I felt like 2 or 3 was filler, and then like the last 2 was like, oh, okay, now we're getting to the point. I feel like they were kind of like staggering out that battle between them and Brother Blood, which I didn't really like, because like that's one of the things that the CW shows do. With 20 something episode season, they usually have like filler episodes where you can tell they're filler. They have nothing to do with the rest of the season. But like I said, watching this since 2018, and which I can't believe I said so, like 4 or 5 years or more. Watching this since 2018, having this show being able to end on its own terms is something that I absolutely like to see. I love when a television show is able to end when, how they want to end it and write it how they want to end it. It's not forced. They don't have to come back with a movie 8 years later. It doesn't have to be picked up by another network. They're able to end it on its own terms, and I think they really did a really good job, like I said, of putting the bow, wrapping it up with this show, and giving you a lot of different tie-ins, a lot of different cameos, a lot of different big action sequences, and of course, leaving it pretty much open to, of course, what could happen next. But I think they answered a lot of questions that you might have had, kind of going into this, so they can just kind of leave it alone. But I think they did an amazing job. The show, like I said, so first to do it, Titans. I hope we get more stuff in the future. Hoping we get Titan stuff like in the movies, because we haven't even touched that yet. We have a big future ahead of us with DC in terms of movies, and so much potential of like where we can go, especially with this. But definitely having this as the starting point in the Arrowverse of so many different DC shows and crossovers and characters that we never got to see before that were able to be on TV. Regardless of like your opinion on like what you think of the shows and the quality of them, I'm happy, of course, that they existed and they were a thing, because that was appointment television for me for week to week. Being able to see the Flash and, like I said, with this Nightwing and these characters on screen for the first time, I think is a big thing that we don't need to sleep on. Regardless of like how you think the quality was over time, it happened, and sometimes you just gotta get the green light on at least one thing before you start getting other stuff. So I'm happy, just went from DC Universe to HBOMAX to Max, and it was able to end on its own terms. And so I'm glad that I don't have any questions or any lingering thoughts, and you won't have any lingering thoughts, as you watch this show about any of the characters, because I feel like everybody wrapped up well. If they decided to do more, if they wanted to, they could. But I think it wrapped up well. I don't think you need any more story to this. Like I said, you're gonna go for a ride. If you haven't watched this, if you haven't watched the show already, you will be going for a ride. Episodes 5 through 6 through 10 of the rest of the season, you will not be disappointed. Like I said, a couple fillery episodes there. Like I said, action's still great. I think the final versions of their costumes are freaking amazing. That's one of the things I could definitely say. As far as DC TV, man, they definitely care about the costumes. I don't think I've seen a bad costume in DC. Like they do a really good job of what they can for like live adaptation. So, like I said, everything is cool. My overall thing, I wish they had more of a base where they were, but I guess they were like on a party bus like for the rest of the season. Like my only like real bad thing, like it really annoyed me, and just overall dialogue in some of the show. It's real cheesy with relationships, but that's just what these shows are. But like I said, I still have fun. This was an incredible journey. 4 seasons of Titans. I can't believe I'm saying that. I actually want to watch it again. Like I said, when it's all said and done. Oh, it is all said and done, but watch it again just to kind of skip that Scarecrow season because it sucked. But watch it again and just kind of go back through certain points because, like I said, I still can't believe this happened. We kind of got this, PG-13 rated R Titan show that nobody knew what the show was going to be, and I think it turned out to be something pretty great. And like I said, I'm glad it happened. Like I said, if you are a fan of the show, you're gonna be happy with the ending. You're going to be happy with the last couple episodes. You're going to be happy with everybody's character. You're going to be happy with everything goes. And you can rest peacefully knowing that you didn't waste your time watching the show. But like I said, overall, good season. The episodes were great. They hit everything for me this season. Like I said, just ebbs and flows of like in terms of like how the episodes went. From to it was pretty good to so that's pretty much the expressions I was making as I watched that. But like I said, overall, really, really good, solid season. Really bow tie way that they ended. Like I said, if you guys watch this, you're going to be watching this week to week. Let me know what you're thinking about the show so far. Like I said, I guarantee you will not be disappointed with everything after this. It's so much coming. It's so much that you're going to show you. I can't even say. But I'm happy that I was able to watch it. And I can say, hey, I had a really good time 4 seasons of Titans, even though I hated that one season. But other than that, leave me a comment below. Let me know what your feelings are on Titans. Are you sad to see it go? If you, after it all comes out, leave me some comments about the stuff that I couldn't talk about. Unfortunately, I couldn't talk about some of that because I can't spoil it. Warner Brothers. But let me know what you think, man. Was Titans your show? Was that something you needed to watch every week? Let me know. Comments below. Leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys for the next time for another review. See you.